Welcome back to the Aging Athletically podcast. I'm Hillary Cairns, and on this show, I talk with athletes, coaches, experts, and everyday competitors about training, performance, resilience, and what it means to continue pushing ourselves over time. Today's guest is Gabby Rose, and her story is one of the most remarkable examples of athletic longevity that I've come across. Gabby is a two-time Olympian who represented both Brazil and the United States during an elite swimming career that included Olympic final appearances, international medals, and a standout collegiate career at Stanford University. Like many athletes, she eventually stepped away from elite competition and moved on to other phases of life, including coaching and raising a family. But what happened next is extraordinary. Decades after her first Olympic appearances, Gabby returned to elite swimming and began posting some of the fastest times of her life. In her mid-40s, she qualified for the U.S. Olympic trials, became the oldest swimmer at the meet, and continued proving that athletic potential doesn't always follow the timeline we expect. Now, with her sights set on continuing to compete at the highest level, she has inspired athletes of all ages to rethink what's possible. Today, Gabby is a coach, a mother, and still a highly competitive swimmer. I am excited to talk with her about what brought her back to the sport. Her relationship with competition, how her relationship with competition has changed over the years, what she's learned about aging as an athlete, and why some of her most meaningful accomplishments may have come later in life. Gabby, welcome to Aging Athletically.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah. So did I leave anything out? Anything that you want to be sure gets in here about your life, your history?
No, I so appreciate that introduction. A bio typically wouldn't include the parts where I, wasn't swimming, but I did have this whole chapter of life. I retired from swimming in 2004, and, it was life. It was becoming a mom, going to graduate school, suffering loss, suffering major life transitions. And now that I'm back in this athletic endeavor, I don't see that as a separate experience. It was something that was preparing me for this next chapter. And so that's one of the most fascinating things is how I am building on those life experiences that were seemingly unathletic.
Okay.
And it's helping me in this current version of my athletic career.
Yeah. So in the original or the first version, I guess, Gabby Part 1, did you officially retire? I mean, was there a retirement announcement?
Absolutely. I had a harsh retirement in the sense that it was the 2004 Olympic trials. And 3 weeks before that trials, I got diagnosed with mono and just missed making the team. And it was a meet where I thought I swam well considering the circumstances, but it was absolutely a reflection of swimming a race that I knew I was capable of more. Had I been healthy, I think I would have made the team, but I thought that was my sign from the sport and my sign to be done. I was 26 years old, and so I left swimming, but I left competitive swimming, elite level swimming, but I never really left swimming.
Okay.
I loved master swimming and the swimming community, and so the sport is a love of mine always.
Okay. Yeah. So going back even further in time, how did you get into swimming? Was swimming always your first sport?
It was. I started swimming at age 4 because my older brother, Matthew, I just wanted to be doing whatever he was doing.
Okay.
And so we were very lucky growing up in Memphis, Tennessee. Coach Dick Fadgen had established a really fantastic swimming program. It produced Olympians, but probably what I was more interested in is it produced role models, these girls that I looked up to who were really working hard and going on to swim at great colleges. So that was kind of my dream. What if I could use swimming and swim in college? And so under Coach Fadgen, I got great training at age 12. That was my breakout onto the national scene. And I got my first national age group record and qualified for my first U.S. national competition. So this is swimming against the best in the U.S. at age 12.
And what events are we talking about here?
I was a breaststroker at that time. So that was the 100 and 200 breaststroke. And I got my first national age group record in 100 breaststroke. And then I got international exposure. So my mom is Brazilian, and I had the opportunity to swim on the Brazilian national team from age 15 to 18 culminating in the 96 Olympic Games in Atlanta. And that was such a good experience for me to understand kind of the power of sport and that there was an opportunity to do this, travel, compete internationally against the best in the
Hmm.
world. And so that really opened my eyes. And then after that, it was my chance to go to Stanford. So that dream came true of going to a great school and having a real team experience. And at Stanford, I was surrounded by world class athletes, and it pushed me to a whole nother level, so much so that I decided to give up my Brazilian sports citizenship and go for the gamble of making the world's most competitive swim team,
Okay.
swimming for the US. So that's what I did. And at the 2000 Olympic trials in the 200 IM, I made the US Olympic team by 15 hundredths of a second.
Wow. That's a little teeny bit of time, but it's all it takes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So did you do other sports before swimming? Or I mean, age 4, that's pretty little.
Yeah,
Or while you were swimming, I guess it would have to be one and the same time.
we also swam sorry, besides swimming, we also did soccer,
Okay.
and I did basketball. It's really not my thing. Soccer I really like, and then I was just reflecting that my mom used to have us go run 5Ks on occasion
Okay.
for Saturday morning practice, but this was a phase of our life where we'd go run 5Ks for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have some like memories similar to that, and then you look back, you're like, "Whoa, that's actually kind of a big deal that I did
Yeah.
those things." When my mom
Yeah.
used to make us, not make us, but we would do these 50-mile bike rides when I was like 10. I'm like, 50
Yes.
miles? Wow,
Yes.
okay. Well, when you talked a little bit about swimming, I think something that's really unique about the sport is when you're really little to be able to literally be in the pool around the older kids and just what you can see. At least my kids did summer swim team, and that was the experience they had. It just seems like such a great way to be inspired, as you said.
It's one of the things I love about swimming. It's guys and girls. I got to do it
Yeah,
with my brother, and yeah, and then just see that progression, see what the big kids are doing, and just imagine that's going to be me one day.
yeah. So you competed for both Brazil and the United States. Looking back, what stands out most from those experiences?
Yeah, I think the Olympics in general, I think are very symbolic of both experiences, and in some ways they're quite different. At 18 in the 96 Olympic Games, I was representing Brazil, and that was an experience of falling in love with the Olympic movement and
Hmm.
just really being inspired and kind of understanding my identity as an athlete in a new way. Like I came from the South at a time where, girls and women in sports that wasn't looked upon too highly except on my swim club.
Okay.
But it gave me, I saw a vision for myself, like having an identity as an athlete who can compete at a really high level. And then I went on to compete for the US, and I was really proud of myself for making that team. And so I think what stands out for me is walking in. I finally got at that Olympic Games, I got to walk out in the opening ceremonies, and it was a hard decision to give up a sure spot on the Brazilian team to make the US team, but just the pride that I
Yeah.
felt. And so
Wow.
the things that stand out for me are just, that athletic identity, the power of sport, really getting that from being at the Olympics, how that can bring people together. And um, yeah, I guess following your own path.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds incredible. And remind me, where were those 2 Olympics?
Yeah. So 96 was in Atlanta, and
Okay.
then the 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney, Australia.
Okay. That's a long way away, but I've always wanted to go to Australia. Was Australia amazing?
It's so amazing in so many ways as a country, and they love swimming.
Swimming, yes, it must have been, just
Yeah.
so intense, and yeah.
And then there's a huge rivalry at the time, and there still is, but at the
Yeah.
time, we were in the height of that rivalry. US versus Australia. And so the fans, the press, like everybody was so into it, and just again, a different experience and appreciation for swimming than I'd ever had before.
I bet. Yeah, it was incredible. So, you said there was a formal retirement or official retirement in your mind and publicly. But you stayed in the sport through race or through the master's training, at least. I don't know if you were racing at the time, but what sparked the decision to come back to where you are now?
Yeah. And I wanted to speak a little bit more on that 2004 experience, when I w- was talking about kind of my bio, or getting to where I got. I didn't talk about the time period 2000 to 2004. I went to the 2000 Olympic Games. I didn't win a medal. I finaled in the 200 IM. I really wanted to come back and win a medal, swim on a relay for the US. That would be the capstone ultimate experience for me. But that didn't happen because I got mono before the 2004 trials.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to swim the race that I was capable of. Right. And so that's kind of, I left it, but I didn't, swimming did not leave a bad taste in my mouth. I love the water. I kept swimming. And in 2021, I broke both my elbow and my foot at the same time. And so I couldn't do anything at
You
that
didn't
time.
do that swimming, did you?
No, that was at the dog park.
Okay. Like, swimming, it can be rough, but wow.
So I was very eager to get back in the water. When I healed up, I got back at it. And a few months later in 2022, joined UCLA Masters under Erica Stebbins. And she's a two-time Olympian, fantastic coach, really challenges her Masters athletes in innovative and challenging ways. So a great group. I got into the best shape there. And so after that, this question just came up for me, like, I wonder how fast I could be. So the following year, I got to test that out. I went to Masters Nationals, and it was kind of a dream meet. I broke several Masters records for my age group. And then something really surprising happened. I got a personal best, a lifetime best in the 100 breaststroke at
Wow.
the age of 45.
Yeah.
So absolutely wasn't expecting that. And that's when everything shifted, because my coach pointed out to me that that time converted. It was in a short course pool. That time converted to long course would not be that far off of Olympic trials. Why not go for it? And the shift, the real comeback happened because I made that a goal, and it seemed crazy. It seemed like such a stretch. And yeah, to give you context, less than 1% of USA swimming athletes qualify for an Olympic trials in a given Olympic cycle.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
yeah, so that really shifted for things for me.
So was the break, the broken elbow and would you say elbow and ankle?
And foot.
Elbow and foot.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone out there wants to try and break some things and then they can come back stronger? Oh, wow.
Yeah. An opposite elbow, like right foot, left elbow. So I couldn't swim. Like there was just no way. I couldn't just kick or just pull because
Yeah.
yeah.
And so it was the 100 breasts that you had the personal best? And that's not what you competed in the Olympics
Yeah.
prior. Okay. So shifting from IM to solely breaststroke. But it sounds like
Yes. I'm
breaststroke
coming
had
back to
been
my
your
roots.
yeah, I was
Right.
gonna say breaststroke
Yeah.
sounds like what you were amazing at as a young person as well. Okay, I mean, were you surprised? Like, just it way faster than you thought you were gonna go or just a teeny bit faster?
It was way faster than I thought I would go. I really was not expecting that. I knew I was in great shape, but that time, and at the time I was coaching kids, like I knew that was a really good time. I mean, that would have qualified at, the California high school meet, would have placed me in finals. So yeah, it was a good time and a total surprise.
So what do you think explains that? I mean, there was obviously a mind explains the capability for that race, that one particular race, but then where you've taken that since then. I mean, is it your training is different? What
Yeah.
explains this?
Yeah. So much is different, and yet so much is like coming back to I know how to be an elite athlete.
Mhm.
Like I know kind of that drive, that focus, what it takes. So it was coming back, getting familiar with that again, and then also uncovering these parts of me that were had gone through these different life experiences and kind of and drawing on that. But to give specifics about what made such a big difference, I really give a lot of credit to strength training
Okay.
and weight training. And this was a new, updated, all grown up version of strength training where it wasn't just about, I think in the past when I grew up, there was a lot of focus on just like heavy, like the result of that lifting was that we got bulky.
Okay.
Didn't necessarily make us faster. This lifting was very intentional, and it was about possibly building muscle, but more so building strength because we don't need to carry around extra muscle extra bulk as an
Yeah.
athlete.
Okay.
And we were training the nervous system, and that was a whole new concept for me. So everything that goes into agility work and explosive movements. And then the last piece that I really think is essential and has changed things so much is recovery
Mhm.
and fueling. So, recovery, fueling, so the timing of when I'm fueling and what I'm fueling myself with, and then stress management. Those things are all part of training the nervous system. And
Okay.
it's helped me, definitely helps me be a better athlete. But I'm a delightful sidebar of this is it helps me, I think, navigate this time in my life, this perimenopausal
Yeah.
phase
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah. Do you look back and think, "Oh, man, I wish I had known these things when I was in my teenage years or early 20s when I was racing at that level?"
Oh, certainly. And some of it is we just didn't have that information at the time.
Yeah.
So that's okay. And I don't know if and something else that has changed significantly is I'm a different person in terms of my patience, my perspective. I have an attitude of gratitude now this time around.
Mhm.
And so I don't know, I'm able to get why you have to be disciplined, and it's just so much easier for me to be disciplined at this stage in my life than I would have been back then even if I had this information. So I really get how every day counts. All these little things do stack up and make a difference, and then it feels incredibly rewarding to see how it pays off.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're actually a better athlete now than you were in your 20s?
Yeah, I in many ways do. I'm stronger, I'm more explosive, I'm more coordinated, and I'm more aware of how to train my body. And so I've also done the work mentally, and I think that was something that was missing during my professional athlete days. I'm in a place now where I can embrace the nerves that come with competition and use them and trust myself in a way that I couldn't have when I was younger. And so it's a different mindset, and like I said, I bring with to this experience now, it's just there's more joy and more gratitude and patience and a willingness to be disciplined. So
Yeah.
probably all those things.
Yeah. How about just kind of your relationship to competition? Like what motivates you now? Is it different than how you were motivated as a 20-year-old? I guess and most importantly, what's motivating you now?
Hmm. What motivates me now is the discovery. Like, it is so fun to be doing this and get to see what I'm capable of. So it's just this constant unfolding and learning. I I also love like the way I feel in the water, and I have this gratitude that yes, this is about performance, but this is also I'm training for my future. I'm making deposits in my own health for strength, for my brain, my bones, my future independence. So that motivates me to really dig in and make these deposits. And what else motivates me? I'm motivated by the sense of peace and feeling like myself in the water. And something I've come to really appreciate. It's rare now, but I get the sense of presence in the water and I get to unplug, just get to be present. I get to show up and try to do something that's really hard. I try to do it well and focus on that without all the noise of everyday life. And so I enjoy the simplicity and purity of that.
Yes, it really does sound like you have a special relationship with the water. Because I think other people who, swim are like, "Oh," you just look at that black line on the bottom, and how do you even, make it for more than 10 laps because it just feels so awful. It
Yeah,
sounds like you have a different relationship.
I do, and I give a lot of credit to the people that surround me. I love swimming, and I've definitely been that swimmer who couldn't make it through 30 minutes of swimming on her own because of the black line. I think I could do it now, or I do it now sometimes, but I'm always around people. So I'm either around the kids that I help coach, or I'm training with masters athletes, or Scott, my um, partner and coach.
Okay,
So I'm never alone. It always feels like a team effort.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely a theme that has come up in a lot of these conversations that I've been having is just the importance of a community and that having people that you're accountable to and are accountable to you makes all the difference because all these things solo could actually be kind of tedious.
Absolutely. And coaching has made me better. It's coaching forces you to really think about if you're going to help swimmers, what is holding them back. And so it's helped me really hone in on the nuances of their stroke and
Okay.
why we advise one thing and not the other. So it's just made me clearer about that. And it's also, like you said, helped hold me accountable. I can't ask them to embrace being uncomfortable or trust the process if I can't do that myself.
Yeah,
So, and then they're great. Um, yeah, they're great reminders of, we have a saying that we use with them, it's the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Pick your poison.
yeah,
And I am reminded of that every day and will happily choose discipline.
that's great. What about pressure? Do you feel pressure now?
I do feel pressure. It's a different type of pressure. As far as competing, like I realize I'm more so than ever, I'm clear that I'm really just competing against myself. And I when I'm in the water or I'm stepping up to race, like I don't think of it as us versus them. I think of it as like, we're in this together. We're going to push each other and we're going to go for it. And it's all going to make us better. So it's a different mindset. And so I get to race with a lot more gratitude and
Mhm.
then kind of a sense of awe. And I let myself be in awe about the women that I get to race. Like I race the world record holder, the American record holder, the gold medalist. And what a thrill. So, as far as pressure, I'm also working on just embracing the pressure. The pressure is definitely a privilege. And how do I embrace those nerves and that feeling of pressure and channel that into a positive for my athletic performance? And that's something I didn't have the tools. I didn't invest in my previous athletic career.
Okay. And can you share a little bit more specifics about your training? So you sounds like you do a bunch with amount with a group, but how much are you swimming each week? How much are you spending doing the all the other things, which seem very important to your swimming as well?
Yeah. So I swim 6 days a week, and then we do weightlifting either 2 or 3 times a week, depending on the type of time of year and what we're focusing on, and I don't count yardage. I
Okay.
never have. That's something that stopped in 2000 for me. Just it's really about the quality of work that I'm putting in and not how much yardage I'm doing. So that's a typical week for me includes those practices, but then it includes so much more. I do PT as not because I have an injury, but for maintenance and just staying on top of things. I do mobility work and then recovery takes a lot of time. So, and I consider that one of the buckets that I have to train or put work into every single week.
And how do you define recovery? What does yours entail?
Recovery, I'm going to include nutrition or fueling in
Okay.
there. Like that's important again, the timing of that, and it's making sure I have enough carbs and protein. It's also hot water immersion is my favorite. I know cold plunge has had its moment, but I don't think that's the best thing for me. And taking a nice hot bath for 15 to 20 minutes is certainly more enjoyable. So try to do that. Massage, rolling out. Oh, I have a red mat. The list goes on in
Okay.
like recovery devices. I don't know if I said massage. I think is I've come back around to like, oh yeah, the old school massage that really
Yeah.
does something. Um, so all those things, and then of course there's sleep. I mean, how could I forget that? That's kind of its
Yeah.
own category, but that's definitely part of recovery. And then stress management. One of my favorite tools is just down regulation breathing to kick off the recovery process. So, in the car ride home from practice or some practice or weights, I take that 5 to 10 minutes and do down regulation breathing, and it totally shifts my frame of mind and I believe activates for the recovery process for my body.
Yeah, that's a lot. You're doing all the things. I did hear that that cold plunges are not necessarily good for women. I don't know who said it, but that was all I don't even know if it was a person who has any kind of real knowledge, but that was all I needed to hear. Be like, okay, guess I'm not supposed to
Yep,
do it then because it's
I heard
awful.
this.
Yeah.
I heard the same thing. Yes.
I was like, phew, okay, I'm gonna go sit in the
Yeah.
whirlpool then.
Yes.
Um, okay, so in practice, uh, you're a breaststroker. I mean, you're not doing, and I know you're not counting yards. You're not doing hours of time just breaststroke, right? You're doing other strokes.
We do. Yeah, we do all the strokes.
Okay.
Some days are IM days, but my focus is definitely breaststroke. It's the stroke I most enjoy, and I it is the most technically demanding stroke. So I put a lot of emphasis on working that stroke and taking advantage of the opportunity to do breaststroke whenever I can.
Okay. And have you ever had any injuries? Like, I think of breaststrokers as potentially having maybe some knee issues. Maybe I'm just thinking about how
Yeah,
it feels when I do
and
breaststroke.
I've heard about knee injuries. It's not something that I've faced. I had a back injury in college from the weight room,
Okay.
so I'm extra careful about that. But I I guess when we're talking about weightlifting, part of what I've added into the weightlifting routine is like, of course, I believe you got to lift heavy and we do mobility work, but we also do stabilizing exercises, PT exercises, and those are foundational also.
Okay. And for I know you're doing weights, but do you do any kind of impact stuff like running or jumping, any kind of plyometrics?
Absolutely. Yes. Plyometrics, I love box jumps. We do. I will sprint, do triple jumps, bounding, bounding leaps. So stuff with medicine ball. So there is impact in the weight room and working on agility, but not designated intense workouts. I am not running or cross training other than like in the weight room.
Okay. You're not running 5Ks anymore.
No, no. I'm getting enough aerobic training in the pool. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Incredible aerobic training. That's the other thing about swimming is like I just every day can be so hard aerobically. You can't do that in running. Your body, the rest of your body falls apart.
no. Another reason I love the water.
Yeah, love or yeah, I mean, again, you have a good
Yes.
relationship with the water because one might
Yeah.
argue, "Geez, how do we do just something, like, really easy when you don't necessarily have to the way you do with running, at least."
Yeah. And I do like that the gear you can add. Some might argue adding fins doesn't make it easier. I
Mhm.
think it does. You can, throw in the kickboard, pull buoy, paddles, so all
Yeah.
these different things.
Alright. So, you're swimming a lot, you're training, you're also coaching, so you're on your feet a fair amount. You also have a family. How are you balancing all of these things?
Yeah, I don't really think of it as having balance. I don't try to have balance. I
Okay.
have priorities and I have purpose. And for this chapter in my life, that is more than enough.
And what does your daughter think of all this?
We have been on a journey together of her not understanding it and kind of being skeptical and maybe resentful before the 2024 trials, going to that trials and witnessing my swimming there and coming away with a much different sense of it and appreciation. And now she's off for summer. Summer has started and she has to come to the pool sometimes and watch me. And she's been awesome about it. So she's she's growing up and it's forced me to kind of grow up and reconcile my mom guilt and explain some things to her why this is important and just have her come along and trust that that is good for her and what I'm modeling is going to be really valuable for her one day.
Yeah. Is she a swimmer also?
She was a swimmer. She has chosen soccer right now.
Okay.
So that's great for her. That was my second favorite sport, so I love to go watch her.
That's great, and remind me, how old is she?
She's 12.
Okay, so just finished this maybe 6th grade or 5th grade?
Yep, she just finished 6th grade.
Okay. Ooh, moving into the junior high time
Yes.
period. It's not you'll have a blast. Jumping around a little bit, but what do you think people misunderstand about getting older as an athlete?
Yeah, I think there's a misconception that aging is about decline or limitation, and I believe there's a way to be stronger, more more explosive, to feel more powerful, to feel more like yourself, and that's possible. It just might require a different approach.
Yeah. Then what keeps swimming still exciting for you? I mean, the shape of the course hasn't changed, the stroke hasn't changed, like, how does it still excite you?
I I think it's just about I'd say the discovery process, and it is my relationship to the water. It's my relationship to the swimming community. It's truly a sport that I love and I get so much out of. And I suppose there's motivation in just knowing that this iteration and this time around coming back to the sport and at this level, this is a short window and it's not going to go on forever. And it's not even going to go on very long, much longer. So I just want to make each day count and enjoy it. And again, that helps me come to this experience with so much joy and gratitude and just appreciation for this chapter and that I feel so powerful and strong. Another thing about what keeps me motivated is like it's bigger than performance. Like certainly I love chasing goals and competing. That's really fun, but I'm I've gotten so much out of the strength training and the sprinting and fueling. And again, it coincided with this chapter in my life, this perimenopausal chapter, which takes a lot of women and they feel like they're slipping away or they're not
Hmm.
really, they can't quite recognize themselves. And
Yeah.
I feel more like myself. I feel more powerful. I feel more energized for the rest of what I have going on in my life and for my future. So I want more of this and I want to keep exploring. And it happens to be that I get to do this in the sport that I love so much. Um, but I want to keep going. And it's about more than the pool. It's about more than performance. It's really about feeling like I'm myself and I'm a more full version of myself and a more full version of an athlete.
You mentioned it just kind of in passing there, goal setting. Do you have goals that you have set for yourself for the upcoming Olympic cycle, time period, anything?
Yes. So the 2028 Olympic trials time standards will come out this year at some point. And so that's the goal. 2028 Olympic trials in Indianapolis, once again in Lucas Oil Stadium. And I'm, I guess the challenge would be can I keep improving and go to that meet and perform to what I'm capable of?
That's great. And do you do other races between now and then? You mentioned going to these national competitions. Will you do a lot of those?
Absolutely. So I do local meets and get great competition here in Southern California. And those are tune ups where for other bigger national level meets. So at the end of this summer, I will have nationals in Irvine. And then the following year will be world championship trials in Indianapolis. And then back to Indy for the 2028 Olympic trials.
Okay. Do you do
Yeah.
any open water swimming or
Once a year with the kids that we coach, we do an open water race. I make myself get out of my comfort zone, and each year it gets a little better and I enjoy it more. Yeah, so it's fun.
okay. Yeah, it's
Do you
I don't yeah, I race triathlon, so you have to do open
Yes.
water swimming. And it just doesn't ever f I'm just it inevitably crosses my mind at some point during the race, like, this why do I do all that pool swimming? Because it has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. I don't even
It
know where my arms are going. So, yeah.
it's so
What would
different
Yeah, it's
being
very
in.
different.
Yeah, yeah.
What would you say to someone who feels that their best athletic years are behind them?
I'd say they might be wrong, and they might have a lot of fun finding out that something else is possible, but they're probably gonna have to change their attitude towards aging and maybe their approach to training. So
Yeah. Yeah, you talked a lot about attitude. That's come through a lot. Attitude of gratitude and just how you're experiencing this phase. Not phase, because that sounds like it's like a I don't know, a temporary thing. It could go on forever.
this
This
time.
period, this era.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, speaking of this time and having goals, before the 2024 Olympic trials, that was I gave myself 13 months to kind of go from that Masters Nationals where I got that personal best to um making the time standard and then going on to compete at trials, and I thought that was going to be like just this one window of time,
Yeah.
but then what an incredible experience it was, a whole journey. I absolutely loved the process. And I wanted more, and it's really enjoyable this time around. 4 years.
Yeah,
4
it's so
years
much
to
time.
train. Yes, I get to stack adaptations and watch those happen, and then try new things and learn from them, and then get to go to all these competitions in the meantime, so I'm really enjoying this very long runway.
Yeah. I cannot wait to watch. I really cannot wait to just be able to follow your journey going forward. So I have some questions that I ask all the guests at the end. So we can shift to those. So what's your favorite pre-competition? I'm assuming you do not take anything during the middle of a short breaststroke race,
Yeah.
but then afterwards. You talked about fueling a lot, so share your secrets.
Yeah. So, I really like oatmeal and
That's come
Bobo's
up
bars.
so
This
often. Oatmeal and
Yes.
peanut. Do you have peanut butter and banana with it, or just straight up
Just
oats?
just straight up oatmeal. And the Bobo's bars have that oatmeal in them for in
Yeah.
the middle of the day. And then, yes, I don't fuel during an actual race, but very close to the race. I am thinking about that and have to plan for that. And it's really an emphasis on carbs, carbs, carbs. So I like those salt stick energy chews.
Okay.
I also really like the Momentous products. There's a product called Fuel, and that has both electrolytes and carbohydrates as a drink. So
Okay.
I'll sip on that. And then immediately following my race, it's important to get carbs back and protein. So I'll have the Momentous recovery drink, which has both carbs and protein, and I'll have some more energy chews. And then a little different from what you all do, then we have to come back for finals, right? So there's the prelims in the morning and the
Yeah.
finals at night, and that's a whole, just fueling for that. But at the end of the day, when it's all done, I love to have a good pasta bolognese or bread basket or things that I really enjoy. So again, just
More
let myself
carbs.
eat those carbs. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Do you have a mantra or phrase that you utilize either in the
I do.
middle of it to get yourself excited to race?
Yeah. This at this time, my mantra is let's find out. So
Nice.
I really like that because, one way or the other, we're just gonna find out information. There's gonna be results and let's find out. So it keeps me going, like even that last stretch when my body feels like it's failing, like, let's find out. We gotta finish this up and then we get to find out how we did.
I like that a lot. If you could have been a professional athlete in any sport besides swimming, what would you have picked? Or what would you pick?
I'd have to say soccer. Um, Little nod to my daughter, but yeah, I guess I have a fascination with a a true team sport. Again, this is hard for me to even choose because I love
Yeah.
swimming so much, but
Yeah.
if I had to choose, I'm gonna go with a team sport, and while we're imagining, I'm just gonna imagine being on the US women's national team and having had that experience. I just have so much respect and admiration for them and what they've done for women's sports and the bar that they've set and how they've impacted, generations of girls and women. So I would have loved to have been part of that and be a part of that legacy and excellence.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not one of the questions I normally ask people, but it just keeps coming up, your love for the sport and for the sport of swimming. And I'm wondering if there weren't any races, would you still get in the water and do hard workouts?
Absolutely. I think I heard you and Paige talking about
Yeah,
this. So you're
yeah, yeah,
yes, a racer, runner. I'm a swimmer. I went decades without competing or, doing doing small level competitions. And those it wasn't really about the competition, it was about the team needed me to help them out.
yeah.
So I just love being in the water. I love the feeling after you've completed a workout. I just feel like myself in the water. So it's really I am a swimmer
Yes, you are
who
definitely a
also loves to
swimmer.
compete. Yes.
All right, who's an athlete that you admire when it comes to longevity or one that you simply admire?
I think this year I'm gonna go on the young spectrum and I'd
Okay.
say Alyssa Liu, the figure
Yeah,
skater,
yeah,
and I was just so moved by it wasn't so much what she accomplished, it was how, and I just, there's so much to be inspired with her story. She, took that time off. She came back when she was ready and she did it on her terms. And then she takes the to the ice and just radiates joy under I can't imagine the amount of pressure to be under
yeah,
that particular spotlight and to do it with such joy. I think there's so much to be learned and inspired by there. So, yeah, I'm going with Alyssa Liu.
yeah, that was amazing to see. What's one habit that you swear by that it's helping you age athletically?
Strength training, just and it's strength training where you're lifting heavy things, working the nervous system, and giving yourself time to recover and prioritizing recovery. But it's just changed the way that I feel about myself and my attitude towards aging.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely come through in this discussion and discussions with other older athletes. Just it's almost without fail talking about strength. Um, that's the end of my questions. Woohoo! Anything else you want to share or
I I loved when you asked about my daughter and how she's kind of impacted me. I did want to share something from the 2024 trials. I um I was so nervous going into that meet and the last 24 hours before my first swim, I was just really struggling with these surges of adrenaline because we were at
okay.
this huge football stadium. I knew I had to walk out in front of 20,000 people. There's a jumbotron and I just hadn't experienced anything like that. Like swimming wasn't like that when I used to do it.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't that I was overwhelmed by executing my race strategy. We trained and planned for that, but it was like the idea of walking out onto you know, onto the pool deck in this arena. And whenever the moment felt too big, I started to think about Annie and I just imagined myself walking out, finding her in the audience and waving to her. And so that's exactly what happened and I was able to do. And so it's just been a case of as a mom, my daughter has given me or shown me strength that I didn't know I had. And that was another case where something about making it about something other than me really changed everything. And I got to model for her what it's like to show up and pursue something fully and to show her like you can be scared, but you get to embrace that fear and still walk forward, stand tall, stand proud, and do it with gratitude. So I'm really grateful to her, and I loved sharing that experience with her.
Thank you so much for sharing that experience with us as well. I just can only imagine that you're an amazing role model to her. I mean, all that you're teaching her with your continue competition and then also all the athletes that you're working with. And they must be so excited. I don't know what they call you, Coach Gabby or Coach, they call you Coach Gabby.
They call me Coach Gabby.
Coach Gabby, that Coach Gabby's like still, going for it still. Like, what an inspiration.
Oh, thank you. They definitely make me better. And yeah, in terms of that accountability piece I was talking about. And then my daughter just keeps, as motherhood It does. It just keeps teaching you so much. You learn so much from your children. And I was thinking about um, when before the 2024 trials, I think it was like a week out, and I was like trying to get her ready for bed. And I most of the time I didn't, bring up we got to get to sleep because I need, got this huge
Mommy
meet
needs
coming
sleep.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but I like really needed sleep, and she's resisting going to bed, and she turns to me and she's like, "I don't even know why you're going. I don't even know why you want to go to this meet because you don't even think you can make the Olympic team."
Mm.
And she was like, "Why are you even going then?" And, I knew at that moment, 9 o'clock at night, I'm not going to win an argument with a 10-year-old about
Yeah.
why I'm doing this. But I, a week later, she saw me competing, and I got to show her it wasn't about whether I made the Olympic team or not. It was it was absolutely worth it, and, I just got to model that for her, and so grateful for the lessons she continues to teach me, and she's pushing me for 2028, so
Yeah.
it's she's absolutely part of the team.
That's great. I mean, who knew that parenthood was about us learning from children?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes.
yes. Well, thank you so much, Gabby. It's been really great to talk with you and learn all about you. And like I said, I'm really excited to follow your journey and step on. I don't know if we're able to, when they show the Olympic trials, if we're going to be able to watch those in 2028. But I fully expect that you'll be up there diving from, I don't know, 3 feet off or however high those things are.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for being with us on Aging Athletically. If you like this episode, follow the show and share it with someone who's still out there getting after it, or someone who might be inspired. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube under @AgingAthletically. And if you have feedback, please send us a message there or email us at agingathletically@gmail.com. Until next time, keep training, keep competing, and keep aging athletically.